morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 230, the final lesson in this section of our special relevant thought of what is forgiveness. I'm going to do something that I did last year as well, which is to take this final lesson and this idea, a central idea of forgiveness, and to blend them together within the prayer of St. Francis. The prayer of St. Francis seems to be one that, regardless of whether or not someone is associated with a church or not, that it is a well-known and well-loved prayer by pretty much everyone. And perhaps that's because St. Francis is as well, because of his association with animals. But today's lesson, now will I seek and find the peace of God. Well, the first line in the prayer of St. Francis is, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. But then every single request that is being made in the prayer, where there is hatred, let me sow love. So love, pardon, faith, hope, light, and joy. All of these requests, all of these attributes are found through forgiveness. These are some of the things that forgiveness gives to us. When we forgive, of course, there is that pardon, although in truth nothing has occurred, but we feel like we've pardoned when we forgive, even if we're pardoning ourselves. Of course, it sows love. Of course, faith is a requirement. We come into faith when we forgive. It helps us to be more hopeful, and certainly shows us where the light is. And of course, forgiveness makes way for joy within our lives. All of these attributes and requests in the prayer of St. Francis we find in forgiveness. Now, the first line in the prayer of make me an instrument of your peace, and today's lesson is, now will I seek and find the peace of God. I want to be an instrument. I want to be a vessel for God's peace. This is where I am meant to be. We had a couple of lessons in part one of the workbook, but the two that I want to mention are one of my favorites, my all-time favorite actually, that I want the peace of God. And that's lesson 185, and then in the review of lesson 205. But then lesson 200, that there is no peace except the peace of God. That's really important, because it is only with the peace of God, which is the peace that I want, that I will truly find the peace that is within me, and the peace that God is offering to me all of the time, whether or not I pick up that mantle. And of course, yes, forgiveness helps lead me to the peace of God. Today's lesson says, in peace I was created, and in peace do I remain, because an idea never leaves its source, and the peace of God is all the peace there is. There is no peace except that. It is not given me to change myself, my big S self. I cannot change that. We were created from the mind of God. How many times will we say this? And that in and of itself means that we are eternal and changeless. We cannot change from what we are. An idea doesn't leave its source. How merciful is God, my Father, that when he created me, again, we are created. I am as God created me. He gave me peace forever. It was bestowed upon me. But now I ask, but to be what I am, and can this be denied me when it is forever true? It is again. It's my birthright. It's my heritage. It's my lineage. Peace is an attribute within the son and daughter of God. Within God's child, there is peace. There is stillness. There is love. Father, I seek the peace you gave me. This is the prayer portion of today's lesson. Father, I seek the peace you gave as mine in my creation. Again, recognition. It was given to me when I was created. What was given then must be here now, for my creation was apart from time and still remains beyond all change. Being apart from time also means that it cannot change. It's only through the idea and the the acceptance of the idea of time that change happens, because in time there is past and there is future, when truly all there is now, and now is eternal. It is this eternal now moment that we reside in. The peace in which your Son was born into your mind is shining there unchanged. We are that thought, and it is a changeless thought. I am as you created me. Have we heard that before? I am as God created me. I need but call on you to find the peace you gave. It is your will. There is no will but God's that gave it to your Son. God's will gave us peace. God's will gave us faith. God's will gave us light. God's will gave us joy. And God's will certainly gave us love. And that is who and what we are, forever, changeless, eternal, timeless. We are sinless, guiltless, and perfect within the mind of God. That's it for today. I hope this helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment, please pray. Please be here tomorrow when we start a new relevant thought for our study in part 2 of the workbook. And that's it. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.